Leadership and spirituality, do you think they are different? Perhaps not. Today we are interviewing a leader who embodies both these qualities. Very happy to interview Sridhar Dharmarajan, Managing Director for Hexagon Manufacturing Intelligence. A little bit about the company. Hexagon is a global leader in digital reality solutions, combining sensor, software and autonomous technology. Their solutions free their customers to harness the rapidly increasing amounts of data, putting it to work to boost efficiency, productivity, quality and safety across industries, manufacturing, infrastructure, public sector and mobility applications. Hexagon Manufacturing Intelligence Division, which Sridhar Dharmarajan heads in India, empowers makers to innovate and create without limit.
Marksmen Daily presents C-Suite Conversations.
Sir, firstly, a very warm welcome to the interview and thank you for agreeing to do this with us.
It's a pleasure.
So the viewers back home would be very curious to know that what is the story of your life that represents the essence of who you are?
Well, there are a couple of characteristics of mine where I never give up actually. I'm fully involved and committed to whatever things I do. And that has been my journey ever since. And I also dream big, think big. And I strongly believe that, once you have a larger vision and larger purpose of life, you can do a lot. So just to give one particular very interesting story, which has been discussed in many of those management lessons as well. I was running a company called Matrix One, which is a product lifecycle management company.
Okay.
I started it in Bangalore and then built it to a huge about 300-400 man team, including product development and everything. So in this product lifecycle management, typically the sales cycle is over 12 months to 18 months. And the investor in Matrix One India was Ramesh Wangal, who actually bought Pepsi into India. So we were actually doing this opportunity at Ashok Leland. And normally we do this right from the CEO and the chairman level because it affects the whole product life cycle of the organization, right? We did this activity for the whole year, assessed the opportunity, assessed the requirements, and then we concluded the transaction for a particular value which he has to pay upfront. Those days our year-end was April to March, and this was March 30th. And the purchase order was actually typed by the CIO of the company, and it was 6 p.m. And I was waiting outside the CEO's office, and he went in to get the purchase order signed. He was there almost for about 45 minutes to an hour, and then he came back dejected. The CIO came back dejected, saying that it was Sheshasai. He doesn't want to sign the PO because it's an implementation, and you need to implement this first, and then only they can use it, and then only he'll pay later. So tell the DS, they call me DS, Sridhar Dharmarajan, they call me DS. Tell DS that ask him to take the money later. So I asked the CIO, can I meet him now? Then he said no. And then I went to the secretary. I said it's very important for me because we worked on this for almost a year and we need the PO for us to book it in that year because there's a pretty large size transaction. So he said, okay, just for yourself. He's going by the 6 a.m. flight to Bangalore. I booked myself on the same flight.
Right beside him.
Right beside him. And I said, I'm going to get 45 minutes of no disturbance of time from you and I want to talk to you about it. So he was very pleased to see the perseverance and then I sat there. In these enterprise implementation, you need the customers you need the people to give a lot of requirements, right? And if there's no commitment from their side, they'll tell me, okay, come back after 2 weeks, come back after 3 weeks. But if they actually paid the money upfront, then the commitment is already very high.
Yeah.
So they give the requirements and we implement it faster. And the faster we implement, you see the benefits across. So we spent about 45 minutes on the flight and totally convinced him. So he said, okay, I'm coming back by the 3 o'clock flight. You come with me, we'll drive together, we'll sign the purchase order.
Right
so
then.
Came back 3 o'clock, Bangalore to Chennai, and then we drove, and then we got the purchase order signed. So essentially, I strongly believe when you take up something, you have to be fully involved, fully committed and make it happen. Unfortunately, it's our own mind limiting, our own belief limiting us. I don't know, another thing is very important for me is actually integrity. And when I say integrity, I don't mean morality. Integrity is say what you do what you say. Be as transparent as possible. And a higher level of integrity is say what you think and do what you say. So if your thoughts, speech and action are in harmony, then you're a completely transparent person. So people know who you are and they will decide whether they want to be associated with you or they don't want to be associated with you.
As a spiritual leader, what practices do you imbibe in your leadership style?
So when you are a leader, you are actually essentially managing the destiny of all your people reporting to you. So if you as a person cannot manage your own thoughts and your own mind, what right do you have to manage others' thoughts and others' minds? So I strongly believe any leader should actually work on himself first. And he should live by an example so that people can actually kind of embrace that. I believe that leaders should have the 3 eyes. And here when I say the 3 eyes, I don't mean the third eye. I actually mean the 3 eyes. And one eye is the insight. A leader should be able to really anticipate what is really happening. It should have insight to the future. Because as a leader, you're always perched on the top. Because you are supposed to be able to see more than what the others can see. If you're not able to see more than what others can see, then you become an object of ridicule. People don't accept you as a leader. So you need to develop that. You need to read a lot. You need to kind of understand and predict what's going to happen so that you can actually be better prepared to the various stimulus that is actually coming. The second I would actually kind of rate as inspiration. Inspiration does not mean you take fire and go behind people's back. Inspiration means you need to burn with passion yourself, so that people can come and embrace you and they burn with the whole passion as well. So you need to really kind of be passionate with what you do, committed to what you do. And the third, we just spoke about integrity, where your thought, speech and action are in harmony. And you should actually be more conscious and more aware if you want to really be a good leader, and inculcate that into your completely leadership group as well.
So taking back this listening word from you, what do you think leaders really do? They listen to understand nowadays, or do they listen to give their inputs? Because I think there are very few leaders who listen to actually understand and feel what the employee or the organization truly wants.
Exactly. See, there are various levels of listening. First level is not hearing at all. You're oblivious to what the other person is saying. Second level is you're hearing, but you're processing something else. Third level is you're actually listening just to retort and respond back because you're more reactive in nature. The highest level is empathetic listening. You're actually listening from the other person's frame of reference. So it's a continuum journey, and every leader actually goes through that journey. And a person who's fully conscious will ensure that when he's talking to somebody, he's fully present in that situation and listening. Because once he does that, he can actually arrive at a solution much faster than actually reacting or retorting. So I would say that again here it goes from a compulsiveness to a consciousness continuum that every person goes through. The more the person is conscious, the more he is an active listener, the more he is an empathetic listener. Because at the end of the day, he has to understand that the other person is also an individual who's also got the same aspiration and same ambition, or just like you have. You actually make a living by actually giving. And the more you engage and the more you give, the more you grow as a person as well. So it helps in including everybody in the growth of the organization, so individual growth, organization growth. So active listening and empathetic listening is extremely important, because it shortens your solution time. Because if you don't listen to complete scenario, then you're not really taking care of all the aspects of the problem that the person has come up with. For us to evolve a complete win-win-win kind of a solution, and it's better to be a listener, good listener, and every leader should actually kind of adopt that.
So put yourself in others' shoes, exactly, and then find a solution, because you will then consciously take the right decision.
Exactly. And right for you, right for him, right for the organization, right for the customer.
Paint a picture for us. What does a day off for Sridhar Dharmarajan look like?
See, when you say a day off, I just want to know what you mean by that. I'll tell you why. Because people have this perception of work-life balance. I don't believe in work-life balance, because it's all life. If you take away work from your life, that means 1/3 of your life you are actually deciding to let go, or you're deciding to kill it. So you have to ensure that your work is also life and enjoy your work. I don't believe in thank God it's Friday. 5 days you slog it out and then 2 days you party and then come back with a hangover on a Monday. I believe it's all life, and you have to really enjoy your work. You should really understand what is the purpose of your job, what's the purpose of your existence, and how this organization maybe is helping you or enabling you with that purpose. And work with the organization which is actually helping you. But understand that your work is as good as your life. I'm a foodie, so I just enjoy my food. I try multiple cuisines. So in an off day, maybe I will have good food compared to maybe a working lunch or whatever. Other than the food and other than some recreation activities and watch a movie with your spouse, engage in the conversation. And I have a very beautiful pet son. I call him my son. He's actually a Shih Tzu breed, highly intelligent. I really love to spend a lot of time with him. So that would be typically spend more time with people that you love, enjoy good food. Rest of the things are pretty normal as a normal
and exchange emotions, because that is what really matters end of the day.
Relationships really matter, and you have to ensure that any relationship is, according to me, is like an emotional bank account. You need to keep depositing things in that relationship
and nurture it.
So that tomorrow, even without realizing, if you make a mistake, you're withdrawing from that bank, you should ensure that you don't go to an overdraft mode. And you can only deposit when things are good. If, let's say, your spouse is upset with you, even if you carry a bouquet of flowers, you'll just throw the flowers out. When things are good, only you can deposit. When things are bad, you cannot deposit.
You can't. They have to do damage control.
Exactly. So, maintain relationship, enjoy, because the more you share the joy, that kind of multiplies in a big way. And so invest in those relationships in your off days. It's the so-called off.
Your responses have been very overwhelming, and this processing will take quite some time for me. What is the importance of art in your lives? We know your wife is an artist. Do you also have inclination towards art?
When I see my wife painting, my wife specializes on two major artwork. One is a Mysore art and one is a Kerala art.
Yes, I've seen them myself.
So she picked up these two art because these art forms are a little bit dying, and she has taken it her responsibility to revive them. Recently, we bought a new home where she and her master painted a 7 feet by 7 feet Ananda Tandava Shiva, the Nataraja dance in a joyful mood on the wall. So they prepared the wall and then painted. So I've seen that when she does this art, she's almost in a trance. She's almost meditative. I connected to the way I do my meditation. She's in that form, but she's actually seeing it and doing it. And that really kind of impresses me a lot. I can't paint, but I really admire those paintings, and I support her as much as I can, because I think she is so creative in that whole activity. And I just enjoy art, and I can't paint, but I used to have a band earlier. I used to be a singer in the band.
In college?
In college.
That's super.
So I just sing on and off. That's from a creativity perspective. That's the thing that I can do. And she does this art, and I just enjoy this process.
What leadership advice would you like to give aspiring leaders?
So I would say everybody think big, dream big, okay? Because I think the problem is we can only think as an extrapolation of our previous experience. That's a problem we have, okay? As a human being, that's a limitation that we really have. Because somebody who doesn't have a bike, doesn't have a bicycle, his dream will be to get a cycle. Somebody who has a cycle, his dream is to get a motorbike. Somebody has a motorbike, he cannot think beyond that because he's in that state, right? But if you develop a habit of consciously start thinking big and thinking impossible things, and you will actually start creating chemical reactions within yourself for you to start believing in that those things happen. So I would say everybody think big. There is abundance out there. You can really achieve whatever you want. So think big, have these faculties around, and always be curious. Okay? Always keep asking questions. Don't believe in things. Find the answer for yourself. And make learning as your friend in the whole leadership journey. Because leadership is a journey. Leadership is not a destination. So ensure that learning is a constant companion to become leader.
There's so much learning that I have done right now, and also a lot of unlearning, because your spirituality, your calmness, grounding, it's completely contagious. So thank you so much. I won't make much time out of this, but thank you so much for doing this interview, and it has been a sheer joy to have you here.
It's been my pleasure as well. It's always great to interacting with you. We know each other for a while now. It's always a pleasure to meet you and talk to you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. India is a land of deep spirituality, and these are the principles we all can learn from. I hope today's interview offered you food for thought. Thank you so much for viewing the interview, and see you the next time.